boys. All right, fella. First question out the gate. Let's get to it, man. How do we feel about Saturday battles moving Sundays? Let's get that out the gate. How do you fellas feel? You care? You give a shit? Or is it
it's taking up football. That's a tragedy right there of epic proportions. In general, I feel like Sunday events are harder to get to. And listen, I believe I was up here. We talked about the event before. Yes. I got a bunch of problems with the event. I've already felt the way, but I do think they made the right call due to, whatever with the hurricane there, right? Like I'm not mad at them for that. But Sunday events in general are kind of hell. And then to get that during the football season, I don't think there could be a worse situation, to be perfectly honest with you.
Terrible.
Yeah.
What's up, man? What we doing, man? How you feel, man?
No, I felt the way because I actually bought tickets to New Orleans. But the thing is that like at the top of the week, I was already seeing the headlines about the hurricane that was going on out there. So I had a feeling that either, well, I for one wasn't going after I saw that. That's for one, and for two. I had a feeling that something like this was going to happen, especially, with it being like that season over there, so but I didn't expect them to move it a day over. I was actually expecting them to reschedule it for a later date. Right. So I do give them credit for that because like they could have easily pushed it back a month or, like found a way to kind of like do the battles differently or whatever. But they still have it in the same weekend. We still have access to it, but it just sucks because I was actually going to go out there. So,
man,
excuse me, Smo. Does it feel like Summer Madness again in my calico voice, brother?
Nah, I mean, I've been saying this since the beginning, and I believe that just I guess the only other time you can look at cross promotional is like when they did Gnome Impact. Right. And I hated that. I'm perfectly. I'd have a larger disdain for 2-on-2s, but in general, I just don't think like cross promote with Gnome and SM unless you're still gonna make the matchups regular. I don't know though. It's just not a good idea because I could see you're like, I could sell SM tickets, but I don't have to necessarily put SM matchups. That's how this card came together. I mean, like, there's just no other like explanation, and I get that, but you're going to have the people refusing it. And if it was just a Kings versus Queens card, I don't really think it'd be like that. I feel like even though the Kings versus Queens series, it might have already kind of had its run at this point, it still would have been cool. Like, I don't think any of us would have went crazy. But now you give them SM expectations, and now naturally you get people to go against the card. So it's very far from feeling like it's Summer Madness again right now. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I was going to say, I agree with the fact that if it was just a Kings versus Queens card, there's a different level of expectations. Not to say that card isn't a marquee card, because it is, but we know Summer Madness is Summer Madness, right? And I feel like when it comes to Summer Madness, like there's certain matchups we're looking for, and there's a certain feel that we're looking for. And with this, I just don't think that we got it, unfortunately. But and the funny thing is, I actually have.
We got to see the results. So maybe they prove us wrong, but none of us are feeling like it. It's no question.
Yeah, but for me personally, I'm not gonna lie. The card was growing on me a little bit just because I feel like there are a couple of ranking implications involved. You know what I'm saying? All right. So some of the matchups did hold a little bit of weight to me. Official and T-Top, Nitty and Vixen, stuff of that nature too. Hustle going against Geechee, even though we don't really care for the battle, it still means something towards the Wody race and stuff like that. So I was more interested in that aspect of things, but in terms of the crossover part, I have to kind of agree with Smo. I feel like there's a certain feeling that you get with Summer Madness, and there's certain matchups that you get with Summer Madness too. And I feel like us getting, and I think I mentioned this in our last interview, our last video, us getting Gnome Impact last year, then us getting like Kings vs. Queens Summer Madness mixed again. It's kind of like truthfully, we've had a year before where we didn't have a Summer Madness, and this year was still fine, So I don't feel like they had to do this combination of it. They could have just gave us a Kings vs. Queens and then double back with one or two Summer Madnesses in 2025, but we don't make the decisions.
How many New Orleans bars do you think these guys got to move around now? New Orleans schemes.
That cat's not going to move it, 3. They're not going to move it, right? You assume they moving that shit.
Right.
New Orleans scheme, you know what I'm saying? Definitely getting something about Lil Wayne not making it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's going to be in abundance, man. But I'd assume, it's going to be the Orlando studio. So the one thing that changes for me is just you go from what would be a crowd to a small room, which I think makes it a little more even for some of the ladies. Because I'm going to be real, even though like a Coffee's been having a great year this year, Yeah, Vic, but I tell you what, I still don't got some of them winning, but on a stage versus guys like a John, a Nitty, Twork, etc., that have been up there just so many more times than you. It's just not even that fair. We're talking like 15, 20 appearances in front of 1,000 people, let alone 500, whatever the venue would have been. So it makes it a little closer for some of the ladies. But if anything, I think it makes T-Top an official. I switched my prediction on that. I had official in the O, or in New Orleans. I got T-Top now that it's down to a smaller room. But
so let's stay right there. Great segue, sir. Let's go official. It's T-Top off Rick. And I'm with you on that because, man, listen, when I was in New Orleans for the UW event, man, listen, for official Loso, man, Loso, I feel bad for Loso. Watching Loso on that stage, man. That was tough to watch. Like I keep saying, that was just tough to watch, man. But like he said, it is even. Listen, I'm going official 2-1, man.
Yeah.
I want official 2-1.
She was just in this room versus Vixen. I was there. I mean, it's probably gonna be the same spot, right? So I was there when she battled Vixen in the same exact room, and I love that battle. I love it.
Can I ask you fellas a question? In your opinion, is Vixen official the best female battle this year? If you guys had to pick one, was that number one?
I would say so.
Jazz and Coffee, and I kind of liked and Vixen a little better. I don't know if that's because I think Jazz and Coffee is more impactful, obviously, but just as a battle, I liked and Vixen a little bit more. But even with that being said, I mean, T-Top's a rapping really good, and he was motivated to go back to New Orleans too. And it's all really weird.
He had a stinger in New Orleans. He had a stinger.
Yeah, and remember he went in the interview. He's like, I owe them a show, and I think that energy. But now when you take away the hometown kind of love, I mean, it shouldn't change the material too much, but it's a difference when O is in front of there with confidence, back to back. I mean, the crowd is going for whatever. They're giving her any time she needs. So if you just take that part away, just small room, I mean, T-Top's just had a better year. Not that she's had a bad year, but like, look at what T-Top's been doing. So I would have to just go skill for skill. And respectfully, I think he's the better battle rapper. So I got to have him winning now. It's a small room.
Yeah, for me too. I mean, I also had official my initial prediction, but this is why, and I do think circumstances matter and context matters. I feel like in a small room too, T-Top just translates anywhere, honestly, especially this year, particularly. I just think that his material has been a lot better than previous years. And he's kind of went back to kind of barring out, not really angle heavy, and honestly, his best performances have been, where he's more bar heavy. And I feel like he for sure has a lot to say. They both have a lot to say to each other. I'm actually interested in the conversation because I remember went out of her way saying that, hey, we need to have a conversation about who really runs the South. And that's the conversation I'm very interested in. And I feel like T-Top will have a lot to say about that. So I also kind of switched over to T-Top as well too, just going off the track record this year.
I'm going to stick with you, baby girl. I'm going to stick with you. Now, hold on. Is T-Top, BITCH, going to be on steroids like Twork? Is he going to OD with that, though, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's an approach. And he was doing that before. Not rocking C3s before that. I was going to say before, when T-Top was yelling at the surf. But I'm sure that'll be part of the performance. It'll probably even hit more now. Probably add to it in a smaller room compared to the big stage. So,
yeah.
Cool.
All right. Let's go John and Coffee, man. Talk to me, Lane.
I had John on the big stage, and if I'm being transparent, I still have John now. But again, to Smo's point, I do think that the changing environments evens the playing field. I think Coffee was going to be competitive in the battle regardless, but I do think that when she's in a small environment where she has like this, I don't want to say methodical pace, but she has this pacing that she does where it's not slow per se, but like she's like in like, I don't know how to explain it, but like the pace that she does only works when it's in a situation where it's in a small room. I feel like on a big stage you're looking for more up tempo stuff. So, but I still have John 2-1 in this battle, just off the year that he's having, along with him being extremely motivated for the battle too. But I feel like this is another battle where I feel like they have a lot to say to each other. I usually don't use the face-off as a way to kind of gauge, who's going to do what, but they had a lot of Easter eggs that they kind of left in the face-off that will be probably touched on in the battle too. But I'm going John 2-1.
Yeah, I'm going John 2-1 also. I listen. How do you guys feel about the run that John's having this year? Is this one of John's best years, Smo? In your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. When you look at comp, I mean, going back, even though it's not this year, the easy battle, pretty much everything he's done from there forward has been real good. And I mean, listen, he bodied Cal. not a lot of people in history, whether you think Cal tried that day or not, it just doesn't happen a lot. It's kind of murdered Calico. Serious battle, I had him winning. I had him losing going into the Frack battle. I had him winning after. You know what I'm saying? And that he's taken a lot of fights that even if you don't respect Coffee and Frack to the max, even though really they're both talented. You know how battle rap is, right? Somebody probably thinks they're ass. However, he's taken them in situations where it's tough, like where he took Frack, not easy. He took it in probably the best situation for Frack, and now for Coffee, a small room is probably the best. Like the situation they're about to go in is way more advantageous for her than it was when they were going out to New Orleans. And you got to give nothing but respect. You're starting to see people put him in that top 3, top 5 of the year conversation. I do believe that's where he belongs as of right now. And I still got him winning. I do think it's going to be a bit closer. And with Coffee, I had her losing to Geechee, I had her losing to Jazz, and she turned around and made those battles fight. So I can never fully discount her, but we're all talking about, look at how John's been rapping though, respectfully. So it's actually the only battle I love on the card. I still got John 1, but it's a great joint.
Potential battle of the night, right? Can we say that?
It is going to be battle of the night. I would.
Stage.
Yeah, I would bet the house that it would be battle of the night. It just means so much. Like this is one of the battles where I was like, I'm actually excited to see for John's case and for Coffee's case, because everybody's been saying that Coffee's kind of running away with it right now, and now she has another, top guy that she's going against, so that means a lot to both of them. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like
he's grumpy though, man. He's been real grumpy, bro. I don't know how you guys feel talking to him in interviews on the timeline.
But he knows in his heart of hearts he needs to win this one for sure. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're trying to be in that conversation, because I feel like people say they have their number one guy, but I feel like the top 5 are really, really duking it out for those spots. And I feel like, one little slip up can cost you for sure. I feel like, especially in this last quarter of the year, it just means so much. Every battle means so much. So yeah, this is one of those battles I was really looking forward to, just because the stakes in it. And honestly, I'm kind of the one that kind of have had to eat a lot of crow when it comes to Coffee, because to Smo's point, there's a couple of times where I thought that she just wasn't going to be able to match up with her opponent, and she's proven me wrong. And part of me is like, she may do it again, but just going with what John's been doing this year, I mean, he's just extremely reinvigorated. And yes, I think this is one of his best years since maybe 2018. That's 6 years ago. So yeah, I'm very excited for the battle.
And John, the last time he battled a female was a 40, right?
Yeah.
He lost the 40s. I had 40.
He was good in the battle, though.
I had 40 winning that battle, too. He was solid, though.
He was solid. He hates when I say that shit, but I'm sorry, John. You lost that battle. I'm sorry, brother. So across the board, we feel away, right? We all got John?
Yeah.
2-1.
Coffee will be good, though.
Coffee will be good. Coffee will be real good, in fact. I think she's going to be real good, man. Smo, talk to me, man. What we doing 40 and Twork, man?
Oh, man. This one could get bad.
Come on.
Nah, this one could get bad. I just think it's a matchup thing. I mean, there's going to be a lot of talk after how the Sharon battle went down, where I feel like it's more added pressure. And, it's kind of the same thing with basketball. Like Westbrook missed a couple shots. People can't wait to get them jokes off for the next month. Yeah. There's certain people that there's a certain type of fun, unfortunately, you know what I'm saying, when things might go a certain way with them. But I think even though this helps 40 a lot going to the smaller room, like I said, it's just a matchup thing, because the one thing that she's got is that pen, right? We see how good that is. But I don't think she's got a better pen than Twork. Now, that's no disrespect to 40, because 40 is still really good, but Twork is really, really, really good. And then one of the things that she has a harder time with, delivery, kind of pace and energy.
Right.
Well, it can't get worse than this. You know what I mean? If we're talking about who's at the height of that, even though Twork really was being silly as hell at the top of this year, he had 2 or 3 battles. He was choking, fumbling in. You saw.
Are you concerned about that? Are you concerned about that, Simone?
Not for this particular one, because I feel like with the past battle and this one, the thing is about battle rappers that don't always take it serious is, unfortunately, they kind of know when to take it serious. And that's the annoying part. Is you'll watch him mess up and you'll be like, man, this is ridiculous. There should be punishments. But then if he wins on Mass 6 and he's great on this card, then what? You know what I'm saying? It kind of resorts. So I expect him to be prepped. And for 40, the problem is that I don't think it's always a memory thing with her. Like, it's not like, 40 doesn't care, so she doesn't remember. I think that she gets in the moment, and I think she gets kind of consumed, or she'll lose a spot. And with someone so explosive like Twork, you cannot afford to have that. So I am going to go Twork 3-0, to be perfectly honest with you. But I'm Smaller room, you're hoping to get a bit of a better 40 bars performance, and maybe that'll give her some momentum going into the Av battle because she's got quite a hard task for her in September, man.
Oh yeah, Lane.
Smo said an interesting point. I think that Twork has more palatable content. I don't know if she has a full out better pin than 40. I would say 40 has the more diverse content. But in terms of what is accessible to today, I feel like Twork most definitely has a better way of connecting with the audience. And I feel like his ability to connect while also having the intricate penmanship alongside of that is just what makes him so dangerous. And then you throw in the projection and all that, and you throw in just his ability to tap into so many pockets, the versatility that he showcases. It's very hard. It is a tough matchup. And I feel like, yes, in a small room, it does help out 40 a lot. You know what I'm saying? But she's won against other greats in small rooms, and I thought she didn't have a chance. Like, she went against Ill Will, beat him in a small room. So it's
she make it close the way Jazz did.
Look, I originally said that, like, you know, I think that she's gonna fight and it's gonna be a 2-1 battle, and I still have Twork 2-1, but I do think that she has a route to win, especially, you know, when in a small room where a lot of people are more patient when it comes to the angling aspect, and you know, she's known to be like one of those top anglers too. Yes. I can see a way where she can like tap into certain flows and pockets and stuff like that and kind of make the battle competitive, but I still have Twork 2-1 clear.
She gotta land some haymakers though, Smo. She gotta land some. They are coming in a flurry.
But I'm not gonna lie. And she lost the battle. So let me start with that. Okay. But her first round against Sharon really was like I was like, see, that's the 40 we need in all 3 rounds.
Listen,
all 3 rounds.
She could have made a second round it could have been questionable. I didn't like Sharon's second round.
I didn't like the second like that either.
The second round was the lightest round in my opinion. The third round was crazy, right? So the second round could have been very interesting if she didn't go through the motions in that battle. You know what I'm saying? But listen, let's be honest. Both of these individuals can go through the motions at times, right?
Yeah, they both go up there and choke. And it's exactly what could happen.
Yes.
So I it's hard to bet on that though. Like, I'm not really looking at either. I'm thinking of them like if they're both at least
at their best
there. I just think one skill set particularly hurts the other. But hey, if Twork comes and messes up or 40 messes up, unfortunately, that'll probably be the story where, you know, you and me are cutting our cameras on to talk about afterwards the event. So
40, and you gotta hit me out, love. You gotta understand, if you stumble in this battle, respect me. I don't want you to stumble, 40. I love you.
Yeah.
Stumble and go through the motions. The first thing people are gonna say, you be in the spaces too much. That's gonna be highlighted. These gentlemen are media dudes.
Yeah.
Media. One of us, all of us, people are gonna say this is a type of conversation and stuff. Listen, I'm going to Twork 2-1, right? I think 40's gonna have a dope round. But like you gentlemen were saying earlier, the pacing though, man, it's like day and night between them two, man. And I think she gotta get to it. And I don't know if she can get right to it with Twork. You know, when he's coming like, hey. But I'm going to get 40 around.
Hopefully.
All right. What we doing? Talk to me, Small, Nitty and Vixen. Oh boy.
I
was going to say outside of Coffee and John, I actually think this could slide its way maybe in a battle night. It wouldn't be my pick over that.
Okay.
But if it wasn't Coffee and John, I would take Nitty and Vixen just because we like Punch Fest as fans. Like, it's a very easy way to get entertained. Mm-hmm. That's what this battle was going to be either way. We just had more faith with Nitty on the stage. Mm-hmm. But you put it in a small room, I would say it gives Vixen more of a shot. I don't really see her winning this battle either way. But Vixen got some bombs, though, and bombs go off in a small room. So I definitely think the footage will be good. But as for the winner, like, you know, there's not too much to talk about here.
Vix, don't kill me, man. I got love for you, mama, but I got Nitty with a 30. And not a body bag at all.
Just all the rounds, though.
Huh?
Just all the rounds.
Just all the rounds.
Body bag, just all the rounds.
Vix, I love you. I really do. But Nitty is a different dude. Wherever he's at in Arizona, he's not on social media. He don't talk to nobody. He's just coming up with some of the craziest Vixen lines that we about to flips that we about to hit. That none of us, between the three of us, all three of us like bars. We are bar dudes over here.
Mm-hmm.
We about to do some shit that we about to be like, yo, I love it. I love the energy, but I'm going Nitty with a 30.
I'm not gonna lie, though. I this is one of the battles where I feel like
battle rap. Well, Nitty, because my bad.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I agree. I was gonna say that I actually think that this makes matters worse for Vixen with it being in a small room. I feel like on a big stage, Vixen is extremely entertaining and she can perform and project, you know, and I feel like, you know, there's energy shifts you can kind of do on a big stage. If someone gives you their best, a crazy round, and you respond in a certain way, then it's battle rap psyche, you know. But in a small room, where it's more honed into the content, and there's just nobody really rapping better or writing better stuff than Nitty. I just think this is a very uphill battle. Now, this is one of the battles where I actually say I do have Nitty 3-0. I usually go the 2-1 route, but it's one of those things where it's one of those things where like where we're talking about one of the best writers mixed in with, you know, actually I think writers and rappers. I feel like he doesn't get a lot of credit for his rapping ability as well too. There's a lot of stuff that he does that no one else can do. So I also have Nitty 3-0, but I do think that Vixen's gonna have a good performance, but she's gonna have to have an outer worldly performance to beat Nitty in this battle, especially because Nitty's actually been kind of resting for a while too. Yeah, that's just a dangerous thing. Yeah.
God bless your heart. Sahada Prince got a song called God Bless Your Heart. God bless your heart, sweetheart.
Sahada Prince, no church on Sunday. That's a fact.
Exactly, man. Listen, man. This brother, listen. The Lux battle, the Saint battle. You know he's gonna come with the Vixen. That brother, one thing about that dude, man. Listen, man, I think he's the best battle rapper, the best MC. We all break down bars, and when I write down this man bars and I'm reading this shit, it's like, wow. I don't understand how this man writes the shit he does, bro. I think he's the greatest dude walking right now. Respectfully, I might OD in this shit, but I'm a big Nitty fan, man.
He's been in that convo, and he hasn't. I mean, you know, people, you could have him. Obviously, most people, I would say, have him losing to Lux, but we know the quality of the battle. And then outside of that, I don't got him losing another battle he's had this year. So it's I'm never mad at that.
He treated Saint was a top tier dude.
Yeah, I gotta ask though, who do y'all think? And this is gonna sound bad, but you really think that Vixen's got a better chance of getting 30 than 40? Because some of y'all are predicting 2 over there for 40, but I don't know. Vixen's been on her shit. She kind of smoked Chilla, respected Chilla Jones, but didn't bat on the riot. The official battle we just said is up there. So even if we're looking at kind of their people going into the battle, I know Vixen got smoked by Ward. That was the most memorable thing. But since then, she's been like that. So that's the only reason I got her getting around. But I mean, who am I to say Nitty won't catch a 30?
I feel like for me though, Small, there's no if factor with Nitty. Like there's no I know for a fact he's elite. He's going to be at an 8 or above. No, I don't have to. That's like when you're a quarterback and you have when you have Jason Witten, or when you have like Jimmy Graham or Gronkowski when he's healthy. Like you just know, like all else fails, he's going to give me this. I'm gonna have this fly route right here. So yeah, no, that's the difference for me. It's just like I just know Nitty is going to be crazy, or at least good or great. With Twork, it's like he can give you a round. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Fellas, how many battles does Nitty have this year already? How many? The same?
He's got 3. He's got Quest, which is really good too. Quest, Saint, and Lux.
He has a 2-on-2 coming up with him and Jazz in the UK. So
he's got all types of, I will say he's got all types of like much lower plates.
Yeah.
You know, he's got like Keys, Killer B. So he's got a bunch of those coming up. But in terms of, for the lack of a better term, like the plates of value, the ones you're going to think of, it's Saint, Quest, Lux, and then he's going to have Vixen coming up here. So
yeah.
I'm not calling out names, but I just think he writes. Everybody got there. I know people who they got as Cody and how this is looking and everything, but I just think Nitty's just
off the ability. I get, I agree 3. I ain't going to say too much.
I'm sorry, that dude, my man. So we all about Vixen. We love you though, sweetheart. And like my man MLang said, you were gonna fight, and I agree with that. She's gonna fight, but what if she wins though, Phil? Hold on real quick. What if she wins though? And
the biggest like
wins. We didn't talk about that.
Nah, it would be the biggest upset of the year, and I would think that two ladies would have the biggest upset of the year, because earlier this year we saw my versus B Danny in a small room. So if Vixen go in there and beat Nitty and clearly in a small room, I'm sorry, that just holds a lot of weight. It holds a lot of weight.
I've seen crazier shit happen, man. I remember when Swamp beat Nitty at the time. I mean, that was before
that was a crazy moment.
Got like busy at the top tier, where it's like so. crazier shit has happened. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Hustle Geechee. When y'all set it off, man, what you got?
I'm gonna keep it real. For me personally, like, again, this is a weird situation, and I think you talked about this before in one of your other videos. Geechee needs the momentum going into the Hitman battle, but it doesn't guarantee that he's going to be 100% in this battle. Like, I'm sorry,
Elaborate, sir.
because I feel like with him, it's like,
okay,
he has an on and off switch, right? And he's not driven by like, okay, I got to win this battle going into this big battle. He's going to get the big battle regardless, right? So I feel like for me, if anything, I would think that, well, him knowing that he has the Hitman battle, he may mail it in this battle.
Gotta leave a bad taste in
I'm not, but last year I seen him mail it in against Coffee and then do what he did against Easy, right? So like, if I'm going off of just what I've seen, I can't just openly think that he's just going to take this battle 100% serious. And even with that, right? Even if he goes in there and does good, I just feel like Miss Hustle's going to try to perform and really take the battle because it means I feel like she's gonna win 2-1, truthfully, you know, and I think that she's gonna really take this battle serious. And even if they're both at 100, I still would probably have Hustle just because I feel like Hustle. This battle means a lot more for her than it does for Geechee, you know.
Okay.
And I think Geechee's gonna put a little bit in the baggie, a little bit in the purse because he has Hitman coming up. I'm just keeping it real. So, and I had Hustle before them postponing the event. So I'm just trying to be consistent and keep that pick the same. But one of her tweets did kind of, you know, trip me up a little bit about she might stay home or whatever. So I hope that's just, you know, misdirection.
Listen, on the strength of that alone, I got Geechee 2-1. My brother Smoke, you go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, Hustle along with a couple other battle rappers, they just be upset to be upset. I think she gonna rap there probably.
Yeah,
right. Serious. But I got Hustle 2-1 pretty clear. I don't think Geechee Gotti's gonna fully care, but I think he's gonna kind of care. And I think he's gonna bring like kind of like how he did versus Fonz, because even a guy like him, and I see this with clips too, there's still unfortunately kind of levels to like them caring or not caring, because there's battles like the Marv one battle where he pulled up with 1 round, kinda, even he was freestyle at the end of that, and it completely did not care the other 2 rounds. And then you have a battle like Fonz where like he was good, he was better, right? But he still kind of didn't give a fuck, you know what I'm saying?
7.5, like 7 out of 10.
Like that. I had him losing. Listen, hold on, Small. I'm gonna cut your knowledge. I had that brother lose his last 3 battles.
Yeah, and he
Loso, Fonz, and Marv.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be real though, he did that in 2022 as well. I remember they killed me and Lang because we were like, we don't think he should be on the 20. And they're like, oh, do you see his schedule? And it's like, I get that he battles a lot of great names.
Yeah.
He's a very impactful person, but this is not the first year he showed up and just completely like just thrown 3 or 4 battles away. I'm really confident in how he's going to perform versus Hitman. Regardless, he could show up here with no raps. He could just tweet through the battle, and that's not cool that he gets smoked. But I'd still have him performing great against Hitman. So none of this for me affects him. I don't think he needs the momentum. That match is so big and far away. That's going to be what it's going to be. But Hustle, she try in these situations. We know that she's going to give effort. She doesn't choke very often at all. And even when she beat Rock, I personally did not care for that battle. They were kind of cool by then, and I could see a world where it plays out the same, where Rock was okay in that battle. I didn't think he was crazy. I had him losing the Hustle, and I think Geechee's going to be just okay, kind of like he's been on every Kings versus Queens he's been on. And Hustle's just going to outpunch him, just care a little more. I don't have good feelings about this matchup. I wasn't excited when it got announced. I'm not excited now. They're still both superstars, but I feel like their time could have been used much better. And I got a bad feeling that the footage is going to speak to that as well.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to say real quick,
Jive and a kiki anything, Lang?
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, I just looking at the track record, man, I feel like Hustle has a pretty solid track record against the men. Whereas if you look on the other side, I feel like Geechee, outside of the KCJ performance, which was money on the line, is $100,000 on the line. So of course he's gonna be whatever. But like the Jazz battle, the Coffee battle, you just see him kind of be like, I'm gonna do enough to try to win. But I feel like Hustle's gonna go out there for the jugular, man. Maybe a lot of haha kikiing on Geechee side. I think Hustle's going to try to at least be serious for 2/3 of the battle.
She don't want to take that fight,
man. Come on, son. You can everything these brothers say they on point with it, but Geechee, I'm gonna have a little faith in you, bro. And I'm only going here because listen to this. Slow made a point, right? No matter what he does, he knows he has the next battle with Holla. We understand that. But I have to think this brother wants momentum. I remember him going in front of the cameras. He did look contrite. He did look sincere when he said that he lost to Marv One. I mean, he had no choice, right? But the way he spoke about it, right? It gotta be Hustle, man. It gotta be Hustle. I'm going Geechee 2-1, but it would not shock me at all if Hustle wins that battle because what's the only dude she lost? All Red, right? All Red's maybe the only person she lost.
Yeah, and that was fun. You got to think about how long ago that was.
One rounder too, yeah, 2012.
Since then, she got Verb and Rock in terms of Kings versus Queens, and obviously,
Hustle, I'm going against you and your track record against the dudes. Your win-loss
on this series. Yeah, she gets busy on this series, but
yeah. Where do you guys rank her right now in Wody?
She's in the top 3 for sure, but she's openly admitted that Coffee's in the lead. She was on Black's channel. He released a video today saying that like she's in the lead and she has a lot of work to do to get to that spot. And that's another reason why I feel like she's going to take this battle super serious. And you got to think that she also wants momentum because she has other battles coming up too. She has Chef Trez 2 weeks after. So, and then my thing is like one thing people don't think about is that like when you have battles that close together,
right?
You losing the first one could very well dictate how you do in the second one because it's a psyche thing. Like if you start choking or mess up in one of your battles, the next battle is just like you have that lingering effect sits there. So I for sure think that she's going to try to do her thing in this battle.
She's number 2. I got Coffee and then I got some air. Like it's just some air.
Yeah.
Where Coffee is, and then Hustle's right there because she's definitely got quite a few battles. I think her and O have done good this year. It's not impossible, but she knows where she's got to climb. She said it herself. So,
Lang, if Geechee is freestyling, going through the motions, his best material, the only haymakers he has are rebuttals.
Right.
Is he gonna get chastised?
Well, here's the thing. I think people are gonna chastise him for like a few days, and then he's gonna promo for Hitman. People are gonna forget. All he has to do is turn the camera on.
Us, we're not gonna forget. Come on, fellas, we're not gonna.
Well, but I'm saying,
when take into account for rank-ins and how we here, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not trying to like belittle it because I'm extremely disappointed in the way he's been rapping. But I'll put it like this: like all these battles he was bad in, the one battle he was good in this year is when he battled Ilmac. Like the one ultra important battle. So he just shows up for important battles. I'd prefer if he just didn't battle that much, if this is what he's going to do. But he's been doing this for 3 years. And now all of a sudden people are just starting to like shake their head and roll their eyes. So it's just hard for me to be like overly charged up when he did this in 2022. But since he did it in front of Mook, it was considered impact and not fucking up. So we'll see what he does. Like,
Lang, people saying this is going to be a friendly battle. You say what? So Hustle and Geechee are throwing that down. They don't want to hear that. They say the coaches, you guys keep saying it's going to be a friendly battle. I would say this: Geechee Gotti has been known to battle friends and not give a shit, right? So we have seen that from him.
It may not be friendly, but it may not be good. I feel like we just want a good battle. You know what I'm saying? Ooh. Like that's what we want. For sure.
This is how you say that, though, sir.
It may not be a good one, or it may be one-sided, Where
we could be wrong too. Like, well, that's the thing is like we're not up here just to talk crazy. I mean, like I know me and Lang both have for a long time not felt highly about this matchup. But if we're wrong, listen, I'll be happy. This was good. I'll be shocked, really. But until that happens, like our predictions are just our predictions. Like we can just go off of what we've seen.
We all hit part of the culture. I respectfully the Hustle and Geechee. I haven't heard anybody attach this as battle of the night.
No, I just feel like it's a missed opportunity because I feel like you had Fonz and Hustle right there.
Okay.
And it just like I don't know. Because truthfully, I feel like in terms of the race, it helps Hustle, but in terms of her career, I feel like her beating Geechee doesn't move the needle for her like legacy that much because she already has like those top guys under her belt. You know what I'm saying? So, but I feel like Fonz and Hustle was like a really, really competitive matchup, and I just feel like it was just a miss. I think it's more of it being a missed opportunity than it is about
So, are you saying Fonz and Hustle is a better battle than Geechee?
Absolutely,
100%.
Lang, talk to me, man. What we main event? Main event. Jazz the rapper versus Twork. And why am I not excited? I'm a hollow the Don voice. I'm not excited. I don't respectfully. I'm
not that excited either. So I ain't even going like I was actually at one point. I felt the same way about this battle at a point that I did about Geechee and Hustle. I have a little more faith in Jazz and Rock to still just be like like at the least I think they'll put out a solid battle. Because like I said, I didn't even like Rock and Hustle like that. And if people are worried about friends and things of that nature, we know about the grudge back in the day. But by the time they battled, they were cool. And the battle isn't like amongst the consensus, like it's not considered like trash or nothing. Like it's considered a pretty solid battle. And I think that's what you're going to get here. I actually don't think they're going to disappoint. You know, is it this big is it a Summer Madness worthy main event? Do I feel that way? Like it's up there with the Pantheon? Absolutely not. We've talked about that the whole time here. But in terms of the quality of the battle, they're both pros. Jazz has been like, even though she hasn't had a lot of battles, she's still Jazz. She's still been really good this year. I'd actually say better than she was last year, to be honest. And Rock has reasons beyond the event or the battle itself to just be good. He's pretty much been good all year, outside of maybe a performance or two you might kind of not like, but he's still like been there at the base level. So I actually have it being pretty good. I have it being like a 7 out of 10 battle, and I got Twork 2-1. So
okay. So Lane.
This is one of the battles where my opinion has changed a little bit. And I might be on the island here, but I do think that it was a safe bet to have Twork 2-1 when it was on a big stage. But in a small room, and I know what the critique is, Jazz doesn't do well against her male counterparts, and I understand that. But I feel like in this small room, man, she has something up her sleeve, if I'm being real. I think that her ability to angle, style breakdowns, her creativity, right? Like I know a lot of people like to put the stigma of her not being good against like her male counterparts and her battles being friendly, but I'm gonna keep it real. Her performance versus Twork is one of those things where I'm just like, if she can tap into that, like in all her battles, like I feel like we wouldn't be even having like this whole thing about her being in these friendly battles and her not being good against the men. Because I think a lot of people don't really talk about that performance as much as they need to, because that was a good Twork and that was a really good Jazz. So for me personally, I actually have
Twork, fam. Come on.
You said what?
I thought it was Twork.
He was good. Don't do this. He was good. Don't do that 3. He was good.
That's
he was good.
The little what's that little
the Billie Jean room?
Yeah.
But I do, and another thing I think of, right, is like if you want to say that she doesn't do the greatest against the men, that's fine, but she kind of has a winning record.
That's fine. Don't say that.
But I'm saying, but listen, she has a winning record against the men, though. Even if you want to say they're ugly wins, and I would say Rock is kind of 50-50 with the ladies.
Okay,
like the C3 and Vixen, right? But then I also have them losing to Hustle, and I also have them losing to Official. Okay. So I honestly think in a smaller room, a smaller setting, and then mind you, I don't have Jazz 2-1 clear. I just think that she could pull it off in the small room. So I have Jazz 2-1.
Yeah, I'm not gonna disagree with you on the part that she could pull it out and get a win. This is not an upset of Jazz win, is it, fellas?
I feel like perception wise it is.
Because of his momentum, like that's what will make it a big thing. Is like, wow, like Jazz is the one after all these opponents. If someone was to, but he's had like a couple of debatable battles. I actually personally got Twork winning damn near all these, even the close ones. Like, but I admit that some of them are debatable. So if it fell in that realm, like, I mean, she's the best woman ever. So like, it's not that crazy. But I think considering the times, like if people in a way will be like, yo, Big K didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? These people didn't clearly get him. Like it would be kind of crazy if Jazz was the one compared to some of those ops he's faced.
Once again, I don't feel this battle is being attached to the battle of the night conversation. And it's kind of weird that we're talking about Hustle and Geechee, and me anyway, Hustle and Geechee, and I feel the same way about Jazz and Rock, right? It would shock me if this is a classic. It would shock. It just would. I don't know why I feel that way. I like Rock and Big K. I thought Rock. I'm going Rock 2-1 edge, man. Rock 2-1 edge. I'm saying Jazz can't win the battle and everything like that. Rock, I'm pretty sure Rock is going to stick to the time limit on this one. I'm also going to pay attention. Is he going to take it light on Jazz? Is he gonna be using the BITC words, H words? Is he gonna be wilding out or spazzing on her and shit like that? Is he gonna take a little light on baby sis? Because I did not like that face off at all. And I know face off don't mean a jack shit. It's about when you go bad. I get it, fellas, but that face off was not it at all. And I just feel for a person like Twork, who's the quote unquote face of battle rap, you want to go in that bag, and Jazz is the best female battle rapper. Why am I not feeling like this battle is going to get crazy? And I'll be honest with you, I don't want Jazz battling no more dudes after this. I'm good on
what
that.
If she does good? Like what? Like I feel like it only takes one battle to change a narrative, and I feel like this may be the one. I gotta
kind of agree with 3 at least to an extent. Like I don't think she's bad versus men. I don't think people really be saying that she's bad versus men. But the product is not as good as the ladies' product. And it's not really close. Like, it's not an insult to say. Right. When you versus Gaddis, she gets performance of the year. Versus Vixen, she gets performance of the year. She battles the men. The battles come and go. Like, they're okay. It's cool for the resume, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I think Kings versus Queens as a whole, and John said something really interesting, and I know that it kind of set people off, but I understood maybe where he's coming from, where he said intergender battles as a whole are kind of like watered down because they happen. Like they just happen. And so when a Kings versus Queens comes around, it's not the special theme it used to be anymore. I don't think that's an awful thing for anything but Kings versus Queens, because how long did we say, hey, you know how you get the ladies involved? You just let them battle the men. You stop making it a big deal. Well, we're there, and it has gotten ladies more bags. But now that you got that, Kings versus Queens just don't hit like a big event no more, because you get Kings versus Queens around the clock. So I'm sure the Jazz will continue to battle a couple of men, but make it make sense. Like, I get it. The big brands of Jazz and Rock. So selling tickets wise, doing what they had to do. I get the vision of what URL had there, but unless she's got a dude that she's got beef with and it makes sense for them to rap against each other, she should be rapping against the people that it leads up to, not just another big name for the sake of it. Because we're not, like, people aren't moved. Casual fans don't seem to be that moved. Diehards like us that watch everything don't seem to be that moved. Let's get back to the plates that made Jazz. So.
Yes, right. And one thing I want to say real quick to that point, we technically got 2 Kings versus Queens last year, because with Geechee's Riot card, we got the Codys versus the Wodies. So that kind of alludes to the idea of us kind of, you know. So I get that.
Vixen battle all the Codys, right?
We got prom night in 2 weeks. We got another intergender card in 2 weeks. So it's not anything against those matchups, but you're not going to sell me this like it's new. It comes around once a year. It comes around 4 times a month. It doesn't move people like that no more. So,
fellas, I'm gonna stop this and I'm gonna start another one over so we can talk bags and bodies. I'm gonna put it separate though. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give me 2 minutes. All right, fellas. All right. Shout out